Showing a little how to split the cover and get some access to this 2000 watts Champion generator. So I'll try to remember the locking securing screw location. So you have at the bottom bolts, I think it's 10 millimeter. Then you need to remove the rear and the front cover. So this one has 4 screws each corner. Then front cover also has 4 screws, I believe, each corner. Usually use Phillips screws, I think. Then we have this cover. We don't need to remove the access cover, just the entire part here has 4 screws at the top. 2 are from one side, 2 are from the other side. Then we also have 2 lower 10 millimeter bolts. There is also 2 tiny hidden screws on this cover side. At the both sides of it is really underneath, and it's if you see, this is the side cover. So one of those screws is right here underneath, and the other one is on the other corner. It's these ones. Show in a moment. So they get, let's see, the hole is right there. Here's the hole on one corner, and there is a hole on the other corner. So you need to lift it to access this, and you need Phillips Chinese tiny screwdriver, and you need a locking plier to grab the tiny screwdriver and try not to run them. I found mine were incredibly tight. So if you manage to remove them, maybe don't put them back in place. I'm not sure what the reason is for these tiny screws. That's the hole on the cover. So it's really on these corners on the side with this panel. Okay, and that should be it, but you need to remove the side covers because they have securing pin. So you need to detach them. The front cover, I did detach it. The one with the buttons is still hanging on the wires, but you need to detach it from there because it has securing pins, so you won't be able to split the unit. Then also at the top you need to remove the gas cap, obviously, and this kind of grommet, and there is also a securing clip here. Just push with something, just slide it off. I think it's this one. It looks like this. It goes like that on this plastic bumps. Then at that point you should be able to remove the side cover, the one for the maintenance. Notice this one is still in place, I didn't touch. You should be able to split this side open. Be aware, I recommend you wash your hands. I'm not sure what chemicals they put. It smells really badly. This is sort of a sound dampening material, but also flame retardant. So they had spray chemicals on this. There's several pieces like this inside on top of the gas tank. So there's all the material, dampening material, but careful, wash your hands. So once you get in here, to get access to the top, so this, if you need to remove or replace the pulling wire, this is the where it wraps in there, the wire there, the cord where it started to start the engine. This is the cord assembly, but to get access to that you need to fully drain the gas tank by all means, because we'll need to unplug the hose from the gas tank. So the hose pin gets into that pin. The gas tank, it's simply sitting in here. It has 2 kind of pins or kind of studs, but there is no bolts to secure it. But you need to lift it gently from this side. So just without forcing, because it's still attached, just lift it gently like this on this end, the end for the maintenance, and then slide your hand underneath. You have clips. Just press down, depress these clips, slide them off the hose, and carefully, there is like, I don't know, maybe like a measure level sensor or something to measure the level or whatever. So just slide gently the hose. I like to just push gently on the hose like this to slide it off the pin with a careful butter knife. So careful so you don't damage. Just slide this off from underneath the tank, and that moment the tank comes completely by itself. So again, it's really just two studs, no nuts on them, and that pin for the gasoline basically, and that's it. Then nothing else that attaching it. And at this point you get access inside. There's not much lighting here, I apologize, but if you need to replace the cord, you need to remove the inverter assembly. Careful with it. I think there appears to be one bolt there, two bolts at the bottom. No, this one, no, don't touch. Just maybe two bolts, 10mm at the bottom, that's it. Don't touch the top bolts. And then you toss it. I guess there are going to be some cables, and that's how you get access to the cord, whatever you call that thing. This is pretty much it. You have the throttle here. I think Champion says to replace the hoses, the gas hoses, every 3 years. So I'm going to guess it's going to last more than that. It's just they are saying this prevention, but that's how you get access to these hoses. So you have one from the tank that goes into that sort of, the switch is that the knob that you select how the fuel runs, so it goes in there, and then there is another hose that comes out from there and goes into some place here into your throttle, but into your carburetor. So this is and the hoses are just secured with kind of clips that you crush. Just use a plier, closure plier on those. Is not very easy. They are tiny, and the angle is not easy. And then you slide these pins away from the nipple here, and then you need to remove the hose from the nipple. And I can tell you, these two nipples have a bump on them. It's almost impossible to pull the hose even when you toast the clip. So I guess if you are replacing them, you just cut the old ones and slide in the new ones. And I could see that Champion is using silicone, synthetic silicone, or any silicone grease inside the hose to slide it easier, also to remove it easier. But just smear inside the hose, very small amount at all ends, some silicone thing. Also be careful when you remove the tank, so you don't bend too much. This is like a throttle cable. It goes in there. It's secured with this screw here, so just careful around this cable so you don't damage it. If you want to also remove if you want side cover, the one with the pulling cord, you need to disconnect the other gasoline hose, and I suggest you disconnect it here at the carburetor. Maybe it's tighter, but I think the place is smaller, but I think it's going to slide easier from there. On the other end, I tried and it's impossible to slide off that nipple. And then you need to detach the cable, the throttle cable. So this goes with the lever, and you need to remember the amount of wire here. And this screw, Phillips screw, it's kind of crushing the wire, but be very careful. If you tighten too much, you are going to actually cut the wire. And you need to hold the hex nut underneath the screw. It is a 8mm, so the hex nut here at the bottom, it's an 8mm tiny wrench. And with a Phillips screwdriver, mine was not even really, basically was almost loose. So be careful if you you don't really just make a test. Turn it clockwise to secure the wire, but if you turn too much, you are going to crush and cut and damage the wire. Then you need to replace the cable part. Sorry, the cable, not wire. So this is a cable. The way it works, if you want, when I'm going to rotate this knob, it's just throttling here. So look what it does. It has a travel, and you want to be able to reproduce this travel when you put the cable back in place. So make sure you have the entire cable until it stops there, and it stops there. This is throttle or choke, I'm not sure about the technical part of it. So you need to detach the cable, the second hose for the gasoline, and also there's going to be a small connector some place right there, electrical connector that goes to that small piece right there, and then you can remove the complete side body. I'm not sure that part with the pull wire and the knob, this plastic part appears to be molded to the side cover, so perhaps the wire you are going to need to detach it on the other end, not on the handle. The handle you cannot detach the wire, so if you place a new handle and new wire, just place the handle pass first the wire, the cable, and then the handle is going to stay on that side, and the cable you pass it there and just wrap it around the rotor.